Hello YouTube, today is the final video of our math history series, and today's video will be a little bit different from usual. Today I will be ranking who, in my opinion, are the top 10 mathematicians of all time. If you happen to disagree with my rankings or feel like someone valuable was left out, please feel free to drop a comment below. Now without further ado, here are your top 10 mathematicians of all time. Let's take a look. Alright, I might have lied. Before we actually get into the top 10, I would like to start off with an honorable mention. This mathematician is unique from the rest of the top 10 because he is a living mathematician and represents present mathematics as well as the future. Terence Tao, professor of mathematics at UCLA, is often considered the greatest living mathematician and has made contributions in many fields including partial differential equations, which earned him a Fields Medal, one of the greatest honors for mathematicians. One of his other most famous contributions is the Green-Tau theorem, stating that the sequence of prime numbers contains arbitrarily long arithmetic progressions. We won't get into all the details of what that means in this video, but anytime a mathematician makes a discovery regarding primes, it is a big deal. Let's move on to number 10. Coming in at number 10, we have Indian mathematician Srinivasa Ramanujan. This man had almost no formal training in mathematics, but he had so many results that were considered original and highly unconventional just due to his raw genius. A famous result of his was his pi formula, which I will show here on the screen. How a man could ever just imagine and come up with that giant infinite series, I have no idea aside from raw genius and mathematical talent. He also has a number named after him. 1729 is known as the Ramanujan number. When a friend remarked that his taxi number 1729 was boring, Ramanujan instantly recognized that 1729 was the first number that could be represented as the sum of two cubes in two different ways, 1 cubed plus 12 cubed and 9 cubed plus 10 cubed. He also has the Ramanujan sum named after him, a method for assigning finite values to divergent series. Let's move on to number 9. Coming in at number 9 is Georg Cantor, the inventor of set theory, which is now a foundation for almost all modern mathematics. Through this innovation in mathematics, he was able to prove that there are different sizes of infinity, a result that was met with controversy, especially among Christian theologians. So you see, their prior understanding of infinity was the nature of God himself, and this brand new idea was seen as a challenge to that, despite Cantor being a Lutheran Christian himself. Their reluctance to accept this new definition of infinity is somewhat understandable, as Cantor revolutionized an idea that had been a certain way for years and years. Cantor comes in above Ramanujan because he developed an entire new branch of mathematics, thus having a little bit more influence. Now on to number 8. Number 8 on this list is David Hilbert. Hilbert was regarded as the spokesperson of the mathematical community during his time and created a list of 20 problems at the beginning of the 20th century that he considered to be the most important problems at that time period. This completely shaped the direction of mathematics for the next several decades. Hilbert has done a lot of work in proof theory, and he can be considered an organizer of modern mathematics due to his influence in the 20th century, which is why he comes in above Cantor. Let's move on to number 7. In at number 7 is the great ancient mathematician Archimedes. Archimedes lived in the 200s BC, but his influence was so great that he still today is regarded as a top 10 mathematician. He is most well known for his method of exhaustion, which can be summarized as calculus before there really was calculus. He also exposed flaws in the current number system regarding very large numbers, and made great contributions to physics and geometry. His genius even allowed him to develop machinery for war, and was highly recognized even by the opposition. He comes in above Hilbert for me, because his discoveries are the basis of mathematics that we still do today. Next up is number 6. Number 6 on my list is French mathematician René Descartes. His greatest contribution is the unification of algebra and geometry through the Cartesian coordinate system, which is named after him. This discovery alone is so radical that it would earn him a spot in the top 10, but he was great in other areas as well, including being a well-known philosopher, which shaped a lot of his logical thinking and reasoning. He comes in above Archimedes because the coordinate plane is so fundamental in modern algebra, and many of today's mathematical ideas would be completely impossible without it. Let's see who made our top 5 next. Coming in at number 5 on this list is German mathematician Bernhard Riemann. Riemann is one of those mathematicians who has a lot of things named after him, one of those being the Riemann sum. The Riemann sum is the first rigorous definition of the integral, thus holding a lot of influence in the development of calculus. He is also highly influential in complex analysis, number theory, and non-Euclidean geometry. In fact, the elliptical model of geometry, which takes place on a positively curved surface, rejected 3 of Euclid's 5 postulates, when only one of them had ever been up in the air up to this point. Riemann was such a creative thinker that he came up with new ideas in several branches of mathematics, and this gives him the slight edge over Descartes. Now on to number 4. Before we start with the highly anticipated top 4, it should be noted that these 4 mathematicians are so legendary that they should be considered in a completely different tier from all the rest. Their contributions are so great that mathematics today would be completely different without them. First up, and the 4th greatest mathematician of all time, is Isaac Newton. Newton is most well known for being one of the inventors of calculus, developing it completely independent of Leibniz, the other inventor, and had great mathematical genius, somewhat like Ramanujan, but in a different way. His book, the Principia Mathematica, showed the connection between mathematics and the physical world, remember Newton's laws of motion. These major contributions are what grant him a spot in the top 4. His work was met with a lot of criticism actually, especially due to the conflict between Great Britain, his country, and the mainland Europe. Newton, being a non-confrontational man, had to have results coerced out of him later in life because he was so afraid to publish results and receive negative feedback. Let's see who comes in at number 3. The 3rd greatest mathematician of all time is the great Euclid. Euclid lived around 300 BC, but his book, The Elements, is the most influential mathematical text of all time. Its format of rigorous deductive proofs for all aspects of geometry and its ease of understanding is what made it stand out, and that's why it was used as the standard mathematical textbook for thousands of years after his death. This long-lasting influence is why he comes in ahead of Newton. Let's move on to number 2. The 2nd greatest mathematician of all time is Carl Friedrich Gauss, another German mathematician. Gauss is often considered the last complete mathematician and was already being recognized as a prodigy from a young age. Some of his great discoveries are the normal or Gaussian distribution and Gauss-Jordan elimination for linear algebra and solving linear systems. He was perhaps most influential, though, in the field of number theory, developing the notion of congruences and the modulo operator, which opened up a whole new world of problems. And we haven't even begun to discuss his influence in physics. He also is known for his contribution in the calculation of electric flux, known as Gauss's law. Now on to the number 1 mathematician. The greatest mathematician of all time, in my opinion, is Leonhard Euler. Euler takes the cake for the top spot because he is the most published mathematician of all time, and his work was much more focused in the mathematical realm than Gauss. Much of Euler's work was proving the many unproven conjectures found in Pierre de Fermat's notes, a character who we have discussed on this channel before. Euler was highly influential in our modern mathematical terminology and notation, which is a very important aspect of the math we do today as well. Some of these notational elements he introduced were the pi symbol, the constant e, and the use of I for the imaginary unit. His famous formula, e to the I pi plus 1 equals 0, or the Euler identity, was a beautiful way to unite all these fundamental constants, and he did so via series expansions, another technique he popularized. On top of all his highly complex mathematical discoveries, he also published a textbook on calculus which was intended for people who had very little mathematical background, showing that he truly believed math was for everyone rather than just the elites. Well, that's it for now. Remember to drop a comment below if you disagreed with anything mentioned here or feel like another mathematician deserved to be in the top 10. Thank you for sticking with me through this series. I hope you viewers enjoyed. Peace.